So if we are creating in the consciousness, if we are having babies in the same consciousness that is, and that has these three ingredients, again, lack, sacrifice, and control, you're always going to have an issue. Hi, this is Masati. Welcome to my podcast, Exponential Intelligence, where we give you a roadmap, a guide on how to evolve life, how to evolve consciousness. So today's question is, do I believe that the global population is too large and do we have to do something about it? Well, those individuals who seem to control the world seem to think so, right? Like Bill Gates and all those individuals. And I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theories, but just like everything in nature, there's always a balance. There's always a harmony. So what is this telling us? Is the global population too large? Well, land-wise, as you look at the population, there's plenty of land. Right? There's plenty of land. You fly over any country, you'll see tons of land, right? So, but humans, what do? They gather again in centers, right? And then we become overpopulated. Are there enough resources? And that's really the key, right? Are there enough resources? Well, if you start to take a look at the technologies that are creating, say, the food, the sewage system, transportation, all those things that we as humans need to evolve, could there be more? Well, you look around the cities, there's Chinese cities that are laying empty. They're dormant. They're literally ghost cities. They've spent billions and billions. So again, there's enough resources. There's enough infrastructure. So, and then if you look at, well, are we creating too much waste? Are we really polluting the world? And can it handle it? We need to decrease, because that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing on what's happening today, right? We need to decrease population so we can save the world. And that's been happening back in the 1920s, back in the 1940s, and then again, year after year. And then we're talking about, the population going way beyond, and then, it's going to be detrimental. So the question I ask you, and all those scientists and all those individuals think that depopulation is the only answer, okay, is that we have to look at the technologies, because the technologies that we use, the opportunities that we have to create new inventions, new opportunities, we're so far backwards. And again, I use the word far backwards because we're going towards a trajectory that is not sustainable. Not because of humans, by the way. It's not because of less humans or more humans. It literally is that the technology is taking us off center. Right? And that's the key. So what we need to do is, yes, maybe we need to become more efficient. That's absolutely true. But is efficiency reducing population? No. It doesn't work out that way. Is efficiency changing technologies? No, because it hasn't really worked out that way. Again, look at all, say, the popular methods of improving air quality, doing all that. Has it worked? Maybe, maybe not. So what's the problem? It's the consciousness that we live in. So if we are creating in the consciousness, if we are having babies in the same consciousness that is, and that has these three ingredients, again, lack, sacrifice, and control, you're always going to have an issue. Whether you're a population of 100 or a billion people or 7.8 billion, soon to be 8 billion individuals around, it's not about the technology. It's not about, say, the reducing the population. It's about coming into harmony or balance with the nature or frequencies around us. Right? And as you become in harmony and balance, well, if we need to depopulate, we'll naturally depopulate. If we need to enhance, we naturally enhance to be supported. And if you go into the higher levels of frequencies and we manifest from the higher levels, again, closer to nature, even if we got a little bit closer to nature, not the trajectory that we're off, right? We're way off. We're way off nature because we think that we're going to do better than nature. You can't. Nature has been around for trillions of years, guys. It's got a lot of knowledge, a lot of science behind it. You can't do better than that. Okay? So what we need to do, again, in order to control the population properly, well, is we go back, we enhance the technology, we create from a different level of consciousness, and then you'll start to see that abundance can be readily created. Abundance can be manifested. There's no limitations or there's no shortage to abundance. And even not just the abundance that we have, there's like abundance opportunities that we don't even know about. Those are all possibilities. So what are those possibilities that are out there for us that we haven't figured out? Well, let's go back. So again, in this consciousness, what do we got? We have lack, we have control, we have sacrifice. Okay? So if you are creating, again, or if we are creating babies, right, or more humans in this condition, well, it just magnifies, again, the three elements of this consciousness. So it's not about the population, the decrease or increase. It literally is shifting to a higher level of consciousness. Okay? This consciousness that we exist in cannot, and maybe that's the problem, that scientists or people, politicians and scientists and so on, we can't handle it. We can't support it, right? But the solutions are not what they think. Literally, the solution is to jump into that higher level consciousness, and we can sustain ourselves, whether it's 8 billion people or maybe even more. But then that question asks, you have to ask that question, well, at that higher level of consciousness, do we need all these people to experience? Of course not. But do we have to eradicate people to save the rest of us? Again, that's a sacrifice consciousness, right? People have to die off for the others to live. It never works out. Again, even if you kill off most of the people or the people that you think you need, that sacrifice pattern, you're going to burden the hell out of those individuals who, well, stayed behind, so to speak. Again, those people who die off or get forced to die off through viruses, vaccines, whatever it might be, technology. Again, it doesn't really matter if they are sacrificed to save the rest. It never, ever, ever works out. Take a look at your own experience, right? If you've ever experienced, say, sacrificing yourself to help others, has it worked out for you? No, it hasn't. It's the same old playbook. So the solutions that we're finding, again, to reduce, to save, it's not going to work out. What are the future possibilities, though, if we disconnected from this consciousness and created from, say, a setting or a consciousness that lack, sacrifice, control did not exist? Well, we wouldn't always have to be fixing things. We wouldn't always have to be controlling things. We wouldn't have to be destroying things. Okay? The only way we would destroy is to understand that, we destroy just like nature does, right? It dies off, it kills off, it destroys to create a newer version of itself, a higher, better version of this self. Nature, so that's the way nature is. Humans, when they destroy, what is it? It's for control. It's for raping the environment or the workers or the people, right? To suck the nutrients or the abundance out of that. It doesn't work that way. It never works that way. Again, whether you have 8 billion people or maybe a few million people, it just doesn't work. Okay? So as you go to the higher level consciousness, think of the possibilities. You're not destroying. Right? You're destroying the old habits and patterns and belief systems. Yes, you're destroying those, but new patterns, new opportunities of how we can expand into the possibilities of who we are, rather than trying to fix the old human that we are. That's what we're doing over and over and over again. We're trying to fix the old human that we are, and we're not doing a great job at it. It's literally like putting duct tape. No matter the most advanced science, the most advanced technology that's out there, it literally is as simple as, hey, let's just duct tape everything together and hope for the best. It's not going to fucking work this way, guys. It's not. Again, and it's not about population. It's about consciousness. As we rise to that higher level of consciousness, food sources, different ways of creating food sources without genetically modifying them. Again, we're not eating food. I don't know what we're eating, but again, it's not beneficial to your body. And again, that creates disease, that creates more destruction in this reality, which again is not beneficial. It also allows us to, say, slow down the consciousness or the evolution of humans, right? Because in this world, in this society, what do? We're always migrating to the weakest link in the chain. Again, all those logistics on saving the population, again, especially with decreasing the population, saving it by decreasing, those are all old patterns, again, of catering to the weakest link. Okay? Nature has its own balance, by the way. Nature is, if you look at anything in nature, it's always in harmony, left alone by humans. If you look at humans, what do humans do? It's always a sense of imbalance. It's always a sense of doing something more or different to come into harmony. That's not the way it works here. That's not the way nature works. It's always about, again, harmony and balance. In nature or higher levels of consciousness, harmony equals abundance. In this reality, abundance equals sacrifice, lack, and control. So as we move out of this consciousness, the possibilities are limitless, by the way. What we die for here, right? Whether it's money, love, and all that, again, it becomes limitless in another reality. And since we don't have to fight, we don't have to sacrifice to become or absorb or hold on to, say, those precious things that we deem, that's needed for us, we can expand because we know it's there. We can expand into possibilities that we don't even know about. So think about that. As we end, notice what you notice, and then notice the details of what you're noticing.